To start off today's show, we will tackle a topic that we all deal with. With grocery prices rising and new tariffs impacting what shows up in our carts, many families are looking for ways to eat well without breaking the bank. I've experienced it personally. The sticker shock is very real. Our guest grew up as a self-proclaimed penny pincher and says that the secret is all about making smart choices before you shop. Her 3 Ps, plan, purchase, and prep, can stretch your dollar and help you put healthy, delicious meals on the table. And today she is sharing her favorite practical tips, from shopping seasonal sales to getting creative with leftovers, to show us that eating healthy on a budget is possible even with today's economy. Joining us is Jane Musinski, owner of Spitfire Training. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really excited about this topic, but before we get into it, we've got this beautiful display of items. She's going to kind of give us some lessons through these props. But first, tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to tackle this topic.
Well, okay, I am a certified personal trainer and I own my own business, Spitfire Training. And what inspired me was obviously the grocery prices, the economy, the tariffs. I grew up penny pinching and had ideas from childhood that I wanted to share, but also I think a lot of us just need that extra education to make better choices.
Right, because we want to make the choices, we just don't know how to.
Yep. Sometimes we rely on a plan B that isn't always the best.
That's right. So, well, listen, one thing that really stood out to me is that you said that we need to be proactive, not reactive, when it comes to eating healthfully and minding our budget at the same time.
So that's where the 3 Ps come in. So if you can take the time to plan your meals, purchase the right items, the most healthiest items, and then prep, you will make better choices.
Okay.
Then you will be less reactionary.
Yes, because it often feels reactionary. You're running into the grocery store like, let me just grab an onion or this just to get through the next couple of meals.
Or a drive-through.
Or a drive-through. Right. So plan, purchase, and prep. Now, talk to us about why these are the foundations of eating healthy on a budget.
Okay, so like you said, sometimes we run into the grocery store and you just need to grab one item, or life gets in the way, life gets messy, and you go through a drive-through. You end up spending more money on food that's probably not the best for you.
Right.
So if you take the time to plan based on some of these, and then the time to prep, you will avoid that plan B nightmare more often.
I feel like when you switch and revert to plan B, you also make less wise decisions. You're always going for like, well, let me just get through this right now. You know
or
what I mean?
emotional.
Or
I want that ice
emotional.
cream.
Yes.
I want that.
So what are some of your go-to strategies for meal planning around seasonal or discounted items? Let's talk about those.
So I brought a few things today that obviously are seasonal for fall. You have apples, lots of apples around this time of year. These apples would probably be more than $3 a pound outside of season, so definitely a good time to buy apples, make applesauce, freeze it, you'll have it later. Acorn squash, butternut squash, seasonal this time of year, better price, so those items.
And these are the kind of things that are, I mean, the prepping part, let's all be honest, it can take a little bit out of you because you have to peel it, you have to de-seed it, and then, but once you roast it, it can, it really is can be a really hearty part
and you
of the
get a
meal.
lot of servings out of it.
Right.
So very
Right.
economical.
Very economical indeed. So do you feel like squash is something that we should like try to lean in on this time of year to kind of bulk up our meals? Because you want a lot on your plate, right? And sometimes you feel like all these ingredients are so expensive, but these are still affordable.
And they have fiber and they're warm and cozy, like butternut squash. They really pertain to your emotional side this time of year.
Yeah, they satisfy you emotionally and physically. So let's talk a bit about how technology like grocery store apps or AI meal planners make this process easier for families.
Okay. So I brought some canned goods, and some of these were in my pantry. And sometimes, you know how things get in the back of your pantry or in the pit of your freezer. And I put in a ChatGPT simple recipe with black beans and corn.
Okay.
And then it gives you a recipe. Then if you don't know how to use AI, the best thing to do after that is to refine your results.
Okay.
So I said, I want only 4 ingredients. So then it'll put together that based on 4 ingredients. So you really can tell it and train it how you want it to work for you. If you need it for 6 servings or 10 servings, tell it and it'll do that for you. So that's the way to use AI. And then I love the loyalty programs that stores have. Kroger and Myers both have really great loyalty programs, and it's based on your purchase history. So you're going to get coupons that are based on what you already buy. And the top of my first one is free. Free. That's always good, right?
Yeah, they know exactly what I buy. Those coupons are very targeted for my shopping habits, so I can definitely relate to that. Yes.
So yes, definitely start with the flyers and try to make your list either with what you have in your pantry or freezer or around what's on sale.
Yeah, we love what's on sale. And I mean, like the first time we talked about this when we were putting this segment together, I was telling you that I found these artichoke hearts way back in the back of my pantry. And I was like, I need to cook these and eat them because thank God they haven't expired. So there's still something I do with them. But you just gave me an idea because I did not know what to do with them. So I'm going to go to ChatGPT.
Yes,
isn't that strange?
Because I did the same thing with the artichokes. So I said, come up with a recipe that's easy with artichokes. And it came up with lemon and artichoke pasta.
Very nice. Very nice. And I'm going to say, make this as simple as possible. Or I could even be like, I have an onion, some garlic, and lemon. What can I do with this? That kind of thing. So no, that's a really good idea. Because those artichoke hearts that I told you about are still sitting in the back of my pantry. So hopefully for much longer. But let's talk about this. Many people think that eating healthy means spending more. How do you challenge that mindset? And I shared with you, listen, I'm gluten-free. Things feel like they're so expensive. I feel like I'm, not getting everything I want at one time. So what's a better way for us to approach this?
So first of all, don't avoid store brands. I brought a couple things here. I have a box of Banza pasta. It's $3.50 for this box of chickpea pasta, which would be perfect for gluten-free. But at Aldi's, I can get a box of their brand for $2.79. It's bigger, and it actually, when I was looking at the ingredients, Banza has fillers, and the Aldi one does not. So you're actually even getting a better product. Sorry, Banza.
We still love them, but I mean, it depends on what your goals are too, right? So
I can feed more with that box too, more people in my family. And like I said, I'm saving almost $1.
Which is significant.
It does add up. It all adds up.
It does add up. And if you're one of those people who is like I also told you about, I did an elimination diet at one point when I was trying to figure out some of the things that I was allergic to. You can't have fillers in the things that you're
To be really
eating.
careful. Sure.
When you're really trying to figure out what can actually work for you. So you have some other favorite, examples of budget-friendly swaps, kind of also when you talk about frozen vegetables and that sort of thing. Talk to us about those.
Okay, so a couple other tips I have, and I challenge viewers this week with this one. So if you have any fruit that is going bad in your fridge, don't throw it away. So go ahead and cut those tops off the strawberries, peel the bananas, dice them up, put them into a snack-sized baggie, and you have one smoothie from that. That's a great way to extend the life of your fruit, and you can do it with vegetables. Spinach, super easy. You would think that spinach wouldn't dissolve very well in a blender, but it's very crunchy. It really works really well in a smoothie. So you do that. The other thing you can do is take some of your vegetables that are also going bad, saute them up. This is the prep.
Okay, prep, everyone.
Saute them up, mix them with some eggs, cheese, whatever you can tolerate. And then you can make it Tex-Mex. You could make it Asian. You could make it any way you want. Put them in here, bake them. When they're done, freeze them, individual snack-sized baggies, and you have grab and go breakfast.
That's very true. So I've been doing a lot of confessions in this process. I even told you about how I froze eggs before because they are so expensive, and I beat them. Put them in an ice tray, and I scrambled them as little ice cubes. Same thing. You would never think that they would melt down and be fine. They tasted perfectly delicious. And I didn't waste any money.
I might have to add that to my list.
Please do. Take it. YouTube University special. Because I was going on vacation. And I was like, these eggs were expensive. I don't want to waste them. And I don't want to waste food too, right? there's a lot of people who have food insecurity. You have to be mindful in that sense. But I love the idea of just chopping things up and freezing them. Is there anything that we should maybe not freeze?
Oh gosh, put me on the spot with that one.
Okay. Not really.
I'm not sure about that one.
Okay. I mean, I tried to freeze eggs, so that'll tell you I'll try anything.
Yeah. I'm sure there are some things that you're not supposed to freeze.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try it, and then we'll see what happens.
We'll compare.
Adventurous in that way,
notes.
for sure. So what's one easy recipe or prep hack that you have that viewers can try this week to stretch their dollar and reduce waste at the same time?
So I told you about how to use your old fruit and your old vegetables, and so that's a big one. Another really great one is to buy a rotisserie chicken, and you can get a lot of meals out of one rotisserie chicken instead of buying, let's say, a bag of chicken breast or a package of the thighs. Try to buy it all in one thing, and then you can pick and choose so many different ways to use the rest of that chicken, whether it's the soup or it's chicken salad or chili.
That's so
White
true.
chicken chili.
Oh, that could be good, really good this time of year. I find that buying a whole chicken can also be more economical than buying just the chicken breast. And I know how to cut up a whole chicken, so I can still make it work. Because they're saving on their prep time. So if I'm willing to put in that extra little prep, we can.
I mean,
really
life
make it
gets
happen.
messy. Life gets in the way.
Yeah.
You do the best you can, and when you don't, you have to give yourself some grace. Allow yourself to throw in that plan B, and then you just try again. You go back at it.
I like that. Give yourself some grace because I'm a little bit of an overthinker, a little bit of a perfectionist. So I've been trying to do exactly what you just advised. Just take it easy, do the best you can, learn from this week or this mistake or whatever, and just try to do better the next time.
I do want to talk about my avocados that I brought.
Oh, let's talk about the avocados, please.
So talking about tariffs a little bit, and I told you I'm not an economist.
Yes.
But with the tariffs, something I learned was that not an entire product category has a tariff attached.
Okay.
So it's all based on the country of origin, where it comes from. So these avocados are $2.89, I believe, at Aldi's for this whole bag.
That is a steal.
Because these are from Mexico. And avocados from Mexico are not on the tariff list. So if you have time to do a little bit more research, I know that's asking a lot. That's why you may see just different prices in the store, because that particular item is not coming from the country that has the tariff.
That is something and I'm glad you brought that up, because we had this conversation offline as well, where we were talking about beef. And I was like, I think beef is going up, and that's exactly what you said to me. It depends on where the beef is coming in from.
I learned something really interesting about that, too.
What's that? Tell me.
So she told me about that, and I was like, tariff on beef. So yes, it was based on country of origin, but also I learned that there's also an imbalance of supply and demand with beef. So then that, I don't want to say forces us, but that's how we end up outsourcing and bringing more in, because we don't have it to support our demand.
Right.
So I thought that was I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I'm glad we talked about it, because honestly, I was like, oh, well, so there's just not going to be steak for the next, I don't know, however many months. But you gave me some context so that I can think more carefully about it. And, we're American and we like our red meat. So
I do.
I know, me too.
I do want to ask you one question before we
Sure.
end. So we all have that one product, that one item that we just are not going to compromise on. So that means I know it's expensive. I just am not going to buy a different brand name of it. What would be that one item that you are not going to compromise on?
Okay, so I was thinking about this, and I would say my avocado mayonnaise. It is expensive.
Nice.
But it is like simple, clean ingredients.
Okay.
It's very tasty, so you don't have to use a lot. So that would be mine. What would be yours?
Smucker's natural peanut butter.
Ooh.
I've tried many natural peanut butters, and that is my favorite. And in our household right now, we have another brand, I won't say, and I just can't do it. So I'm going to go back to my Smucker's.
Listen, life is too short to not have the peanut butter that you like, and I'm with you. It is crunchy or smooth?
Smooth.
Okay. I knew we would get along really well. This is awesome. Thank you so much for all of this advice.
Thanks for having
now,
me.
how can viewers connect with you and learn more about what you do?
They can visit my website, spitfiretrainingllc.com, or you can email me at spitfire.training@outlook.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank
being with
you.
us. This has been great. I hope you guys learned something because I know I definitely did.